Alright, so here I'm going to show you how to create a design like this for DTF printing, and it's not as hard as you think. Alright, so this is one of my tank tops I use when I go to the gym and work out, it has a picture. It's kind of funny. It has a picture of George Washington holding a barbell over his head, riding an eagle, a bald eagle with some patriotic theme there, and it says, "I have the right to bear arms." You get it, to play on words, bear arms. Just thought it was kind of funny. I like to put stuff like that on shirts when to go work out in. And this image is something that would normally take you a long time to create something like that, or have a professional artist do it or something. But there's a much faster and easier way to do this, and let me switch over to the computer here. I'll show you how I did it. Okay, so I generated part of that image with ChatGPT. I used AI to generate it, and you can do some really cool things with AI. There are some limitations. It won't do trademark things and political figures that are current and things like that. So you have to just kind of play with it and understand what you can do, and you have to kind of learn how to talk to it and what to tell it when you're telling it to design an image. And so I actually have the subscription to ChatGPT. I think I pay like $20 a month or something to have access to it. It gives you, I don't know if it's still the same as when I got it, but it gives you like priority access and not having to wait and things like that when the systems are overloaded or under heavy stress. And so I'm logged in. I'm going to go to the Dolly section of ChatGPT. Now there is a mobile app for this, so once you sign up and everything, and you can put the mobile app and sign in, you'll have access to the same things, and then you can generate these when you are on the go if you'd like. Now, one of the key things with this is that you have to know what to tell it and how to talk to it, and how to manipulate what it generates. Now, one thing actually a couple things you need to know. One is it's not very good at spelling. So if you tell it to spell certain things, you're probably better off leaving those out. You can try, but normally I end up leaving those out and putting my own words in with the images. Sometimes I'll do it, it'll generate it, and then I have to fix it in Photoshop or something, and they're not too bad. But most of the time I try to leave the image and the words separate so that I don't have to deal with its misspellings. I've even tried telling it things like spell the words exactly as I have them here and putting them in double quotes, and it still misspells words. The other thing is just knowing what to tell it, and if you tell it something and it generates an image, if you don't quite like it, you want another one, it will not generate the exact same image. It will generate similar things. So I'll usually go through several different revisions within a few minutes time and end up with the image that I want, and then I'll take that and add words and embellishments to it. Okay, so what I have essentially told it, I said generate a 12-inch by 12-inch image of George Washington holding a barbell over his head while riding a bald eagle, and add some patriotic U.S. flag themes to the image. Make sure the entire image is displayed and not cut off, and add blank space all around it on all four sides with a plain white background. If you do not tell it certain things, it will generate the image, and sometimes they'll be cut off on the edges, and where it'll put like a background on it of something scenic or whatever that you don't want. And so you really just need to learn how to tell it what you want. And so we'll submit that request and we'll wait while it generates it. Usually it'll generate a couple of images for you. And that's how quickly it did it. And you can see that one, it put the entire image on, but the other one, it cut off the image around the edges. So we're going to tell it to do it again. So I'm literally just saying, do it again, but do not put things in the background. I want only the eagle, Washington, and the barbell in full color. So we'll do it again, and it will generate another image very quickly, as you'll see. And again, this is not what we're looking for. So, the George Washington part on the one on the right is probably pretty close to what it should be, but it's not quite where we want it to be. So we need to do it again. So I'm saying again, but make the eagle have a patriotic theme to it, and make sure the entire image is displayed. So we'll try it one more time. And yet again, probably the one on the right, well, I don't know, they're both pretty nice. The one on the left actually is probably a little better, but it has that flag behind it. So I'm going to say I like the first one. All right, I think I can work with this one. So I have the entire image. It has a couple elements in the background with a little shadow down there, but we should be able to clean that up and get rid of it. So we're going to download that and open it in Photoshop. And I think we should be able to clean this up pretty well without too much trouble. So I didn't really want that flag behind it back there, but we're just going to leave that here and just continue on with the video. We could go through more revisions till we get exactly what we're looking for, but this is close enough. So we're going to go to our eraser tool, and we're going to get the magic eraser tool. We're going to increase the tolerance here to about 70% and see what happens when we click erase. Let's see if we can get rid of these stars that way too. Click back here and get rid of these solid pieces. And looks like it erased, the tolerance went a little bit too high and erased some of this area, but we can fix that without too much problem at all. So let's go ahead and put our background layer and fill it with gray. And then let's turn on our drop shadow and see what everything looks like. And it looks like it did a lot better at cleaning that up. So let's see if we can get rid of some of these little stragglers here that is from the stars, and get rid of those pieces. Ordinarily I'd use the clone stamp tool probably to just duplicate some of these areas from the feathers around it, but they're at different angles and different shading, and it might look a little odd if I did that. So we're going to use the lasso tool to come up here and just grab one of these feathers, and we're going to copy paste that as a new layer, and we'll come down here and place it, and then we'll rotate it. Then we'll go to Edit, Transform, and Scale, and we will stretch that out a little bit to kind of make it fit in here. And if you'll notice, I'm trying to kind of line up the edges, the black edges here, along with the feather that's underneath of it. And you can see there it actually blends really well already. So I'm going to use my eraser tool. We'll adjust the size down and adjust the hardness down a little bit. And we'll erase the very edge of that. And there you can really barely see that does not belong there. I mean, that blended really nicely. What we'll do now is we'll use the clone stamp tool now, and we'll copy paste or we'll just clone part of this and extend it out there. Realize we have a little bit of place there in the little corner that probably needs cleaned up a little bit, so we'll adjust that down and come in here and clean that a little bit. Highlight these two layers. Actually, I don't want to do that yet because I still have the drop shadow on. Go down and look at some of this other the other pieces here, and we'll get rid of some of these little artifacts and accents and things. I think everything's in pretty good shape there. We'll put change this layer to like a neon green color, so it'll reveal anything that's straggling out here. Here we see a little tiny artifact there. We'll deal with that in a minute. But once we turn off the drop shadow, that'll show a lot more. as far as the holes and the feathers and things that we just recognized. So we'll do the same thing here. I'll take a feather that's from a little, a couple feathers away so that they're not identical right next to each other. And we'll just copy paste that like we did previously and move it up here. And we'll rotate it around so that it fits in there properly. And again, we'll use our eraser tool to go around the edge of it and blend it in so that it fits in real nicely without looking out of place. Go a little too far there. Showed that green again. And there we have that one, and you really can't tell that that's not supposed to be there. So we'll go around and just look at the image, see what else we might need to clean up or patch in there. Looks like everything else is pretty good shape. Look, we got some artifacts here. Let's turn the drop shadow back on, and we'll adjust that drop shadow size so it's a lot smaller and be a little easier to spot those little artifacts. And again, just cleaning them up with the eraser tool. There's one down here. Alright, looks pretty good. So we'll turn off the drop shadow. We'll highlight those three layers being the feathers. You can see there's one feather, there's the other feather that I placed in there. We'll hit Control E and merge all that to one layer. And then from there, all we have to do is add our wording to it, like I had in the example. The shirt that I showed you at the beginning of the video. We're going to turn this back to gray, light gray, so we can see it. We'll make sure we're selected on the image that we want to copy, not the background. And we'll hit Control A to select everything. And then we'll hit Control C to copy. And we'll go to our new document and paste it. And we'll want to adjust the size of it a little bit. It is a little bit smaller. It comes in at 72 dpi, but for an image like this, you can actually resize it, and it doesn't look bad at all once it's printed, especially since it's more of a clip art type graphic. And if I zoom in, just see that it looks pretty good. It's got some little jagged edges, but at the scale that it is, once it's printed, it's probably going to be pretty clean, sharp edges. I'm going to change this to that light gray color just so I can see what I'm doing a little better. And now we'll add the text to the shirt. I don't have the font, have it installed on this one, so we'll use another font here, and we'll insert our words. We want them to be white. And to adjust the font, we can either adjust it manually like that, or I can go to Edit, Transform, and Scale and just drag it out to be the size that I want. But I want to pick the font first because that can affect the size of it. And we'll just go down through here and see what we can find. I kind of like that one. Then the easy way to do this, once I have the font in the correct size and everything, is to duplicate the layer. That way I don't have to worry about it being a different size or anything. And put the words in place. We'll overlap just a little bit there. Kind of makes it a little interesting when you can overlap some things, shrink your design down just a little bit. It looks like it's all together and not, you know, something that's, you know, not meant to be in part of the design or whatever. So that comes out pretty nice. And now with all three of those layers selected, I'm going to hit Control E again, and then you have your gang sheet layout. If I want to order two of these, I can just copy paste that layer and put them side by side. Again, you want to have just a little bit of border around each one. You know, you could do some different things. If you're doing a larger gang sheet, you could even flip one of these over and kind of puzzle them together, put them closer together, fit things in. You can put a little chest logo right here in the middle, fill out that sheet as best you can, and use as much surface area as you can on your gang sheets to create your designs for DTF printing. All right, so there you have it. There's the final shirt that I did, just a different version on the screen. You saw that for the hardest part of the image, this part of the image here, what was it, 5 minutes it took me to generate that, and you know, 3 or 4 revisions or whatever. I didn't even have to actually do any work until I got the image and brought it into Photoshop, and I had to clean it up. And that one was, in the example, was actually a little bit more difficult to clean up than others because I went ahead with it after, even though it had some of the shading and shadow in it, which makes it a little bit more difficult to clean up. On this particular one, it was a completely white flat background. One swipe with the magic eraser tool cleaned it right up, and I think I created this entire design here in less than 5 minutes. It was nothing to really create that. So you can really get creative with ChatGPT and generate those designs using AI at a whole different level than what most people's artistic capabilities are. So good tip for you. If you have any questions or comments, post them down below the video.